It has begun. Welcome to another episode of the Weekly DLC. I'm one of your hosts, Kurosh. Joined always by my co-host, Daniel Vargas.
This is amazing.
A.K.A. Shax and Daniel Jang.
What the fuck you say to me, kid?
That's so bad. I was expecting you to do
the pum-pum.
If you're not familiar with what we do, we sometimes do impersonations of things. We sometimes sit around a table. We have discussions about topics, usually nerdy in nature, every Monday on podcasting services of your choice. And yeah, we have some fun in all the middle of all that stuff. So without further ado, we're going to cut right into the topics. Huh?
Room 103. Did you say that? Room episode.
Oh, yeah, we're on Ep1. This is 102.
Oh, shit.
You're thinking of the topics for episode 103. I know
He's
that.
ready for room 104.
Yeah. I was like, did you just tell him what room we're in? Yeah. No, episode 102, guys. It's like, I want to start naming the episodes like how you would see on like, you know how some people, when you see a file of a pirated thing, it's like S01E02. I want to start doing that.
S202.
I saw someone. Well, no, I saw Lyric.
We're in season 2.
Yeah, that's true.
Year 2.
I saw a streamer, Lyric, and his like title for his stream that day was like S01 episode 05 dot X like dot 1080p XVD, like all the extra shit. I was like
IQ 100. Dude.
I'm like, I know what you're
200.
doing. Yeah, so let's get into the topics. And then afterwards, again, for people who have missed maybe a few episodes, we're doing topics first, and then we're going to get into what everyone's been in the week.
What is this?
I know it's a little change. Again, if you feel strongly one way or the other, we'd love to hear. We're just trying something a little different to see if it gets us to the topics a little bit better. I know some people were like, oh, can you give us time steps for when the topics start? Because they might not be interested in our, banter, but then I know other people that are interested in our banter, so I'm just trying to gauge a little bit of both. So, like I said, let us know. With that, let's get into topics.
Let's do it.
We're going to start with you, Jane.
So what's been going on around in the internet is the 10-year challenge, where you post a pic of yourself 10 years ago and then a recent pic. And I've been seeing like environmental changes like go viral. So my topic is, there's a book that came out a couple years ago, Elizabeth Colbert wrote, saying that we are currently in the sixth extinction. So she's basically saying that the Earth has already gone through 5 of them. And us polluting the Earth is expediting a mass extinction again.
So this is something similar like when the dinosaurs became extinct. That's one of the extinctions out of the 6.
So like the basic gist of it is, like, we are producing so much CO2 that what happens is the oceans start to get warmer and more acidic, and it's starting to kill off things like crazy. And like we're at a point now where like we are killing off things and before we can even discover things. So like, what is your take on it? Are we in the 6th extinction?
I mean, if you telling me this, I 100% believe, based on like our consumption, like just our country alone, the consumption rate of things, the amount of cars I see on the freeway every day to and from work, 100%. I feel like there's some crazy stuff that if we put in the hard work and time and investment now, we could maybe reduce that. But again, I'm not well informed on this, but I don't know if that's reversible. Like it's going to reverse things. Was there ever an intention to try and reverse, or to just reduce that time instead of expediting? Are we just trying to reduce?
So like it's cyclical. So like the way like we're producing CO2, it's supposed to be like millions and millions of years. We've cut that into like 25. What we did in millions of years, we're doing in 25,000 years. Mm-hmm. And like, so the other extinctions that happened were volcanic, where CO2 was like blown up into the sky, and that just caused mass extinction. Except for the last one was the dinosaurs, because the asteroid came in. That's the only one that's non-volcanic. So everything else has been because of CO2, increases of CO2 due to volcanic activity. and we have exponentially, like, fucking, we're doing that like way faster than a super volcano can, which is scary. Did Joe Rogan mentioned like we still have super volcanoes. A super volcano can still go off and create a mass extinction to this right now. Like if
like the people talking about it, not just super volcanoes, but the massive like tectonic plate shift, like the
Specifically
one
for California.
Yeah, the one I forget the name of it.
The fault line.
Yeah, San Andreas fault. People are like any day now, like, or not any day, but like I'm exaggerating, but it's still like it's expected, and no one's moving, no one's changing. People are still going about their lives, and I'm like, man, that's crazy, like that. And then imagine, that on a global scale with like what you're saying.
Yellowstone's a super volcano.
What?
Yeah. So if it blows up,
I didn't know that.
I have a quick story about that. In my 9th grade biology, I remember watching Discovery. Not in the class, like at home. I watched the Discovery Channel and mentioned like Yellowstone has a super volcano under it, or like it's based on a super volcano essentially. And I remember going to my biology teacher and like during class, I like raised my hand, I was like, "Hey, did you know that this is a super volcano?" And my teacher was like straight up like, "You're an idiot." Like
what
that, like, and just.
That's it.
Like, well, then, like, I mean, obviously didn't say you're an idiot, but like she like pretty much like said like what I was saying isn't true. Like, don't say that, blah blah blah. And I was like, did I fucking read this wrong or something? So she it caused me to doubt myself. And then like later on, I was like, this fucking bitch, I was right the whole time, man. That's it. That's my story though.
Damn.
Yeah, I think there's like 5 of them. I'm not sure how many there are, but any one of them can blow up and it would
Like
destroy. It would destroy.
Yeah,
the
and
world.
then not only that, like covers like the worth.
So, have you read this book?
I have not.
Have based on like you looking into these things, just like to whatever level you've looked into, have you made like conscious things? Has it impacted you on a personal level? Like you make conscious efforts in certain ways?
Not really. I mean, still drive, and yeah. No.
So
Have you ever done one of those like carbon footprint quizzes?
Yes, I've done that, dude. If you eat meat, your carbon footprint is fucking huge. It's like crazy. Like just raising cattle is like super devastating.
I was making this is a joke, but one of my friends is a pretty strong vegetarian. And I was like, if you're a real vegetarian, you would not eat plants because there's already so few of them. And instead, you would try to eat all the meat you can to get it off the planet. You're doing more harm than good. And I was like, and she's like, what? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I can't tell if you're joking or not. I'm like, call yourself a vegetarian? I don't know. No, I think there are in some ways I have and in some ways I haven't. I think it's just lifestyle changes. You got to make efforts.
But like, just like, if you change the global temperature by like a couple degrees, it creates like the storms that it creates is like, I mean, you see it now. Like these storms are like getting a lot more crazier. And
I remember like 5-6 years ago, I was driving down to Comic-Con, and I would see as I'm getting closer to San Diego, the giant like rivers and lakes, and I drove by them a year or two ago, and it was empty. And I'm like, what the hell? That was like when we had very little rain those years.
Drought.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, like this is insane. And then you showing me those pictures of the caps and stuff. I'm like, fuck, this is crazy. And all this weather and everything. I don't know what to do. Like another conversation to be maybe had is like, I don't know, is it responsible or not? But like, do people now start taking into a factor in of like bringing in a new child into the world of like, oh, this world is like possibly like the idea of like it being crazy weather, glooming craziness, fires, and all this global warming. Like, is it an added thing you think about? It's like, wait, can I support this kid? Wait, are we in a good place for this kid? Do we have a home? All the things that you would normally, I'd imagine parents think of before they have a child, maybe. And now maybe this is also a factor, or do you think that is, or no? Or do you think it has to get more severe before that sort of thing happens?
We'll get back to the basic question. If I think the Sixth Extinction exists, or like if we're in that.
Fine, you can avoid my question.
What was your question?
I was just asking, like, if like following this, like this idea of in this not belief, but all these signs that are pointing to more of that extinction. Should we make it like more human? Like it's an overpopulation. Like some countries just stop like having a population thing where they're like, no more. You're not allowed to have any more kids.
Yeah, we're China's put like.
Yeah, we're not at that. But I'm saying like,
but yeah.
should
limits.
Do you think that families should start thinking about like not necessarily for like the society, but as like, oh, this kid is going to be coming into this world in a they're not going to live a good life that I want them to.
Yeah.
Do you think that's yet a thing that people think about, or it has to be? You would think maybe it's something it's more severe yet.
I think someone that isn't having a kid will think about it strangely. Like they'll just like
me?
yeah exactly. But then someone that has a kid, they're more enthralled for the child. Like the fact that they're gonna have one. Like if like they know they're pregnant.
Okay.
Like that couple knows is pregnant. They're gonna be more enthralled in the fact that that's all going on. That they won't think in the future of the child in regards to like when they're older, they're thinking in the future of when they're taking care of the child. Okay. I think in that, and they'll just be stuck in that. But to go back, like, I don't know if this is like a fear for me, like thinking like, I don't want to believe in this. Therefore I don't think it's a true factor. I don't think we're ever going to destroy the world ourselves. Like the point where like the earth just won't exist. Like we'll just reset it to where like everyone dies and then the earth just like continues to live on essentially. But I guess there's a part of me that feels that if that happens, like where we mess up the world where it becomes like essentially uninhabitable, like I feel like humans will adapt. They'll become they'll just learn to live on the water, no land, have jars of sand.
Just to put some backstory into this, the reason why there's red flags of this is there's these frogs that are, I think there's these frogs.
Yeah.
But they started dying. And so the scientist is like, dude, what the hell? Why are they're just dying? Yeah. And these frogs existed, amphibians existed back in the dinosaur age, and they actually survived the asteroid crash. Yeah. So he's like, the scientist is like, okay, so maybe it's man-made. That's why these frogs are dying. So he decided to go to another area where it's not touched by man. The frogs are still dying. So he's like, why the fuck are the frogs? And he has no clue why the frogs are dying. And he thinks it's because of the warmer ocean and the acidity of water.
We're changing the world faster than an animal can evolve.
And what's weird is he was saying that even like frogs that are kept in like, he said, I think it was like the Smithsonian, they started dying too. And they're not affected by like the outside temperature. So he's like, this is really weird. And so that's what sparked this whole sixth extinction debate, that the frogs dying out.
Dang, this is a sign that aliens are already coming down and they're killing the most superior race, which is frogs.
I'm trying to go back to. I had a thought on what you had said, Vargas.
So that we will adapt to the environment.
I feel like you could maybe say as a race that could happen, but I don't think everyone's going to adapt.
Oh,
I feel like there's going to be like people die.
There will still be like a max extinction. There will be like a huge amount of the population could go out. But that's over time. I don't know. There could be obviously storms that just take out like a population, but it's not. That's still like a percentage of the population that it is now. But over time, that population will dwindle. But I think we'll adapt and survive essentially. Like we'll repopulate.
Going back to the Discovery Channel, there used to be a show saying like what the Earth would look like 100,000 years from now.
Like tectonically?
Yeah, and human beings do not survive. But you know who is at the top of the food chain?
Frogs.
No.
Fucking knew it.
Squids and octopus.
Really?
They evolved to like this. They're already intelligent.
How can they predict what that squids?
I don't know. These are scientists.
I don't think it's like 100% accuracy predictions. It's just they use like the information they have. Like,
but
octopus is gonna adapt
really
very well.
Smart, dude. Holy shit! Like,
you know what? I'm calling it now. I'm getting
there was an octopus that would like disable a security system and climb back into his tank.
That was Finding Nemo too, dude.
That's an actual.
That was animated.
Let me bring this up, dude.
I'm calling now. My next tattoo is an octopus. Done.
He wouldn't.
I'm imagining it on your head, and like the tentacles are like coming down. You're like, dude, your hair's like in your. It's like that's not hair.
I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going. Yeah. But yeah, like I
didn't watch Finding Nemo 2, actually.
I don't know. Like, to while he's doing that, I don't know if if it's fear that like I'm like just like don't like I don't believe in this because.
Yeah, what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, because maybe I could be worried. I'm not sure because I don't know. Like,
you just like try not to think about it.
No, it's not that I don't try to think about it. I just feel like there's I can't. I mean,
what part of it?
With the knowledge that I have now, I can't fathom a world where like humans just can't adapt to it. You know, like it just like obviously there are things that will kill us. Like there's animals that can kill us. There's storms and freezing cold can kill us. But there's still people that can survive in those situations. There's still people that can survive in different situations. So I don't feel like 100% extinction, I guess, is what I'm thinking, rather than just a mass.
I think he turns off the power of a lamp that annoys him. He climbs out and turns off the power.
That's pretty crazy.
Comes back to his home.
I mean, the thing is, we haven't had an issue. I guess we're starting to, or we're thinking proactively in some ways, in some industries, I would say, of alternative energy sources, because we have yet to have an issue where it's like there's no more. Like imagine just there's no more gas, there's no more oil, like just altogether we've sucked it all out. Like maybe not in our lifetime, but like down the road, maybe 100 years or so, that could happen, and then that I think is enough of a fundamental block of like what we've based everything on, like water, like what you're saying, like these ice caps. Smallest change to them has had such like drastic ramifications. The smallest change in like our supply of like oil or water can have an effect on us too in different ways. It's like, oh, they have more oil, let's fight them for it. Wars start, political shifts happen, lives change because of that. Like all these like chain effect things happen. And
for example, bees are dying out, and if bees die out, the pollination of a lot of crops, just food supply, just dies out.
Yeah.
Isn't it also there's something with spiders?
Yes.
Because people are like those are going away, and those keep the steady. Like if they go out in certain regions, there's going to be a mass like just infestation of just all kinds of critters and stuff.
Well, there's like Interstellar. They talk about like crops not being able to grow anymore. And that's causing.
Yeah, I mean it's not based on nothing, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know what to think about. Like a lot of thoughts race through my head of like, will it happen in our lifetime? Will it happen?
I mean, with crops, we got Soylent Green, perfectly fine. We're good to go.
Like
what? We got LaCroix, bro. We don't need water.
If the ocean gets so acidic and it just kills off all ocean life, that is fucking like who knows what that affects? That could affect.
Do you think though that if enough people like sort of in the Watchmen sense, if enough people like united on a singular focused goal of we need to figure out a way to purify the water, of filter out all the negative stuff, if enough resources and time were put into that it would solve that problem?
Electrolytes.
I think so.
You don't think so?
No, I think so.
Oh, you do? Okay. I feel like that's one of the issues is like getting everyone to agree on like a singular solution.
I feel like it's going to be to the point where it's like too late.
Yeah, like I mean, more often than not, yeah, because everyone's squabbling.
Well, like from my understanding is like we don't try to purify like ocean water because it takes more power rather than just doing it like the way we have it now, where we can like recycle what we have and stuff like that. Like so it's the possibility is there, but yeah, again, like it could become.
How feasible is it for everyone?
Yeah, and then I mean, the thing is, again, like I do believe in that we're destroying the earth in a sense where it's like going to harm us. Where I've taken steps to try to not use as much water, like because that's a big thing I notice is California before now, like we've had like a week of rain now, but before that we were like in a huge drought, and even before that, yeah, exactly. So like I no longer take like showers where like I have the water constantly running. I fill a bucket of water in the tub and I use that water to take a shower essentially. I don't know. Yeah, so like I just because normally like what you do is you leave the water running until it warms up for you. That's all water wasted, and then once it's done, then you start taking a shower with the shower head and everything. What I've done is I have a big enough bucket that collects all the water when it's cold, and then it starts heating up, and then that heat also warms up the water that's already cold, and boom, like I have not wasted any water, and that water goes to be used to take a shower.
You just don't have to take a shower at all. You're good.
There's that too.
And then go to conventions.
And they gotta go-
Yeah, those guys are saving water for sure.
Yeah, but there's different methods, you know, like try to like wash your clothes less often, you know, try to bundle more, or like, you know.
Start buying games digitally so they don't make physical copies
No.
as much.
Start buying disposable slacks. Wear them once, throw them away.
Disposable slacks. I feel like that would be harming the.
I mean, one of the smallest changes that have happened more recently that's been sort of like statewide mandated, or at least our counties, is the whole bag thing. Like, I remember when they did it, we were prepared, like, oh, don't throw away any of those free totes we got from PSX, or I have like 4 from PSX, and I didn't have an issue. Like, I had all these bags, and now I'm like, this is like, I had an easy time just getting used to that, and I'm like, I wonder if more places will start doing that. The other thing that's happening soon is the whole straw thing.
You have to ask.
Would you get mad if like the government starts saying, okay, you can only drive Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays?
That's fine with me. I'll
Like
stay
people
home.
that's like
Work remote.
see that's because of the job you have now. What if like that didn't? There's a lot of people that they can't. It's an option for them.
Make it an option. VR.
McDonald's.
Ready Player
Simulations.
How may I help you, sir?
I mean, that's a different thing. Automation.
Yeah.
And all the robotics.
But when it comes to the plastic thing too, I wouldn't say it's recycled because it's still getting thrown in the
Waste.
Yeah, the waste areas or whatever.
Yeah.
But I would keep the bags and I would use those as trash bags.
They're like bathroom trash bags.
Up until
whatever other ones.
last year's when I started buying actual trash bags. Before that, I've never bought a single trash bag in my life. It's always been a shopping bag that was given to me to be used as a bag. But then like after some time, I was like, I'm out. Fuck, I need to buy bags.
What do I do?
And so I've bought Febreze scented bags, which I feel for some reason is more damaging.
No,
I don't know why.
if it's just, I'll tell you from experience. If your bag has a leak through it, it mixes with the Febreze smell, and it's worse. It is worse.
Appetit.
Blood orange.
It is worse than blood orange. Like, I've had to like purge our trash once because we let it like sit with watermelon shells, and the liquid just like but the straw thing is interesting because like less places are providing straws.
Well, right now there's already like a thing where restaurants have to ask you. You can't.
Or no, you have to
restaurants
request for it.
Yeah, a restaurant
give it
won't
to you.
offer you one. Like you have to ask for it.
And soon Starbucks is going to do that whole where it's like no straw, just lid.
A sippy cup.
But the thing that I've been learning about the sippy cup thing is that potentially uses more plastic than separate straws.
But the ban is on straws, bro.
The straws don't go up. They don't go up turtles' noses.
I mean, yeah.
Dan, did you see that video where the guy's trying to rip the thing out of his nose?
Stop.
That's the noise it made.
No, but one thing I've done at work, and thanks to a friend of mine, she got me and someone else these glass cups. So whenever I'm at work and we get Starbucks, I take the glass cup and I just reuse
at
it.
work. I use a blender cup, whatever.
And then I started. I mean, these are again little things; they're not huge, but I'm like, if it helps.
Can
it
one
helps.
man make a difference?
No.
Elon,
This
we
man.
need more Elon Musk.
I will show you the way. Is I just start having like, if aside from, I mean, LaCroix is probably not helping, but my just regular water, I have just a bottle now. I don't get like bottles of water.
We still do. Like,
Yeah.
so my dad, he keeps like a certain amount piled up.
Yeah, yeah.
In
Emergencies
case of, like,
too. That
the
happens.
whole earthquake thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like, if we get trapped, we have a reserved amount of water.
I used to always have a 6 or 12 pack of just bottled waters in my trunk of my car because in college we would always go like to a bar or something, and if I ever needed water or if someone ever wasn't feeling well and needed water, I was like, this is my emergency water for them.
Uber 5-star.
This is me.
$5 tip.
But I don't know. It's like, is this going to make a difference? I don't know.
But are we in the Sixth Extinction?
I'm making, I guess, more of an effort through being reminded of like recycle and waste and trash, I guess. But
Don't throw your batteries. I
Are
learned that
we-
through Mythbusters Jr.
Are we in the Sixth Extinction?
yeah.
I say no.
Yes.
Because I'm in denial, bro.
No, because you like to go. Every time you hear what we say, you're like, I'm gonna go against it.
No, I just explained why I don't want to believe
I'm teasing you, bro.
All right, then.
Your topic.
Mine? It's
No,
so
mine.
strange. It's just so strange going from this.
I mean, to either one of ours, it's
this
strange.
natural.
I mean,
my-
Jake throws in some of the more. I mean, you've done it too, where we get like thoughtful and
Yeah.
philosophical, and I mean that's fun too. Like it pushes us. This is
No.
not my comfort zone. Like
No,
I
let's
don't.
go back
I can't
to-
be like, oh yeah, in 3 years ago there was this console of the
But-
extinction. The second extinction iterated on the first extinction with a 4 controller adapter.
But did Captain Planet do his job?
No, you fucking did not.
But you know the song by heart.
Captain Planet, he's our hero.
They should bring that show back.
With Don Cheadle.
Yeah. No, it should be brought back by the people that do Planet Earth.
Okay.
And like it's building, and like they go into a region that's
No,
documentary.
Magic School Bus should be brought back.
It is.
They are.
Yeah, they're bringing. It's
They are.
animated.
Okay, cancel it and then bring it back again.
Hey, reboot the reboot.
Reboot, literally the show reboot.
Speaking of canceling, let's get into your topic.
Ooh, there you go. Perfect transition. Star Wars. EA announced that they have essentially 2 titles in the work at the moment, or had. One was an open world Star Wars, and one is. Or no, I'm sorry, this is not EA. The other one is the Respawn. The Fallen.
They're in EA.
Okay. so-
Everything's under EA. EA has like a locked-in contract with
which
with
they
Disney.
have only released 2, and the previous contract had like 16 games or something.
Well, the
like
previous was Lucas. It was
Yeah.
under Lucasfilms.
that. Yeah, and they
I-
had 16 fucking games. All right, so there's two that they had under the works. They had a Star Wars open world, which has now been said that it's canceled.
canned. Yeah.
And then they have a Respawn, the people that make Titanfall, have one that they're still working on called Fallen Order, I
Yeah.
believe. And that's a kind of like a third person.
It's like a-
you
no.
follow Padawan or first person.
I think it's like a first person.
Okay, first
Or
person.
third person over his shoulder. I don't know. One or the other.
It could be a mix, but yeah, you're essentially like the idea is you're following a Padawan that's like in the midst of like a whole issue going on, whatever. But for the canceled open world, I wanted to just ask, what developer do you think could have picked up this mantle and created like a fantastic Star Wars open world game had it came out, or if it could still be in development?
Did you say who was working on it within EA?
No, I didn't have that on this one.
Okay, I was just curious. I believe it was like EA Vancouver. Like their Vancouver studio was working on it.
You're right.
Before them, though, I remember the main creative director of Uncharted, Amy, I forget her last name. She was leading a team with Visceral Games, and they got canned, and their team got dissipated, and then this one happened. From what I understand, though, that the people aren't let go; they're being just reprioritized.
Yeah, no one's from this cancellation. No one's being let go.
Yeah, reported by I think Kotaku. I don't know. Jang, did you have any ideas?
I mean, the safe answer is Rockstar, but
Bethesda.
I don't want to do safe. We're gonna go dangerous.
Ooh,
So there's a game coming out tomorrow.
Travis touchdown.
Yes. I would have
baby.
Goichi Suda 51.
Oh shit!
Because
That's
No More
AKA
Heroes.
Warrior 64.
I knew where you were at.
No More Heroes is kind of open worldish. It's like
I mean,
very,
you beat off your saber in one of the versions.
It's like it's kind of open worldish, and he doesn't make the greatest games, but they are always a breath of fresh air. That's what I like about them.
Sig Magnifique.
They're a breath of fresh air, and I feel like the new No More Heroes is gonna get bad reviews. But hey,
Did you see any reviews?
I saw the Famitsu one, and that's it.
What I read about, I mean, this is a slight tangent, real
Yeah,
quick.
you're good.
It is really experimental because he goes into all these different game types and they're homages to existing games, and that's cool. But how whether it's shallow or deep in those each of them, that's where it's like people are, I think, oh, it could have been more.
But you know who makes a cameo in it, right? The Messenger.
A Star Wars game.
Open world.
I mean, yeah, I thought Rockstar was things that pop straight into my head. Rockstar, Naughty Dog.
Saints Row. THQ.
No,
is
God.
it?
It'd be over the top.
I mean, part of me wants the old Raven team that did Jedi Outcast. I forget who they were called. Raven.
Oh yeah.
I kind of would want. You know what I'd fucking want? I'd want them to do, and this would be okay. They could either do a new thing or they could do a continuation like they did with the whole Battlefront thing. Because Battlefront existed prior to EA having it. It was original Xbox One. They did Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2.
Yep.
Fucking amazing games. I forgot who developed them, but Lucasfilm. I think LucasArts. Anyway, they came back. They're like, oh, we're gonna do it EA style, Battlefield. I'd love them to do Republic Commando or something to similar effect of like, soldiers, and I want it in the style of id Software's Doom.
No.
I just want this trooper to go berserk. It's like a trooper that's like maybe part Sith or something, just fucking wrecking shit and like I want it fast paced. Like that's how a Jedi would be.
He's got Jedi blood in him. So he's able to use certain abilities. Yeah.
Just crazy moves, fate, like crazy shit all the time. I think that'd be different. I mean, whether it'd be right, I don't think it would capture. I mean, it's owned by Disney, so I don't think they'd partner in that way. But we're getting crazy.
For mine, I was thinking like choosing Bethesda, but back when like they had done Obsidian or not, is it called Obsidian?
Obsidian was the studio that did
not Obsidian, Oblivion. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay,
that's what I meant. Back when they did that game, like because that's when they had come out with a great game, great content in it. Obviously, they've gotten just they did Skyrim, and then now they're kind of like going with Fallout and Fallout 76, which hasn't been doing so well. But yeah, back when like they had like that reputation when it came like to Oblivion and stuff like that, that's kind of like what I would do, and like it'd just be a fantastic open world, like where it's very similar to the way like Oblivion and Skyrim is, where you choose the class you want, like the race, the class, the gender, like anything, and then from there you just live your life anywhere you want to go.
What you're describing is Knights of the Republic, and that's what should be the true next game done.
Exactly.
KOTOR 3, and CD Projekt Red.
Oh shit! A Witcher sounds.
Big dick in the room.
The Star Wars game. This is off tangent. Star Wars game I want to see: X-Wing versus TIE Fighter 2. Like, fucking VR headset, VR compatible.
You've seen my VR.
Yes.
Did I ever show you the spaceship, the Elite Dangerous?
No.
God, dude, I had it set up to where like you put on the VR headset and you're in the spaceship. You're in the cockpit, and then I had a HOTAS, which is like the throttle and joystick. Oh my god! And it was a 1-to-1 ratio. Like I would throttle the what is it called?
Did you have your sister like
the thrusters? No, I was thinking about like I got to a point where like there's like these feedback vests or whatever. I was thinking about getting them, but I was like, this is too much.
I almost broke the chair again. Holy crap! I heard a crack.
Hey, remove that off the podcast. No evidence.
I heard a crack.
But it was fantastic, dude. Like when you would put the throttle up, the guy's hand in the game would like move exactly as your hand is moving. It's just the way the game was coded, but it matched up with like the VR headset. Like you would move the joystick, and the guy's hand in the game would move exactly the same way. And what's cool is when you die, like it shows your windows crack, and then like you just like the oxygen gets sucked out, and you just like everything goes silent because you can't hear anything, and then you just like it just slowly goes away, and then you restart again.
My top 2 picks: CD Projekt Red for an open world. I keep forgetting the open world part. And BioWare is part of EA, so I can't pick BioWare, unfortunately. I'm just making that rule for myself. I don't know. So CD Projekt Red. Second would be the guys that did the recent Assassin's Creed. I think that'd be really cool. Is you're taking your, Jedi guy or girl or whoever, and then you're doing all these class builds, and you can do builds like all the different equips and the stuff. I think it'd be take that idea of Assassin's Creed. I think Shadow of Mordor also has that. Include the system. I think it's open now. I don't know if it's still patented or whatever. The Nemesis system that Shadow of Mordor had.
Oh shit!
And build that into it of like
Darth Vader.
building rivalries or friendships with other Jedis in this world, or Sith, or whoever, or smugglers, and just like that would blow people's minds. I started thinking more in the vein of like other types of games,
with
not
KOTOR,
open
you
world.
could only be a Jedi, right? Like every class that you were, like the option
I
was to
mean,
be a Jedi.
your character is a Jedi, but your party can. It's like a.
I would
RPG.
like. You haven't said it, so I don't know. But just throwing in like different, like being able to be a bounty hunter rather than a Jedi or something like that. Being able to be
That's SWTOR.
okay.
That's the MMO one,
Yeah.
where you can be a smuggler, you can be a trooper, you can be a bounty hunter.
But I want this as a single player game, or at least
It
that's
is.
what
I mean, so you could argue that it is now because it's free to play, and you could essentially just play the story and not give a shit about like raids and whatever else.
it's just not the same.
My brother and Katie's dad both say the stories are amazing for each of the types of characters.
Oh shit!
And I'm like, I just need to like put the time into it.
I've played it. Like
I played it. Man,
played
when I first started.
specifically a bounty hunter, and for some reason they're considered a fucking tank class. I don't know why, but
Well, you can build it into a tank class.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they showed like a demo of each thing where it's like here's a like a versatile bounty hunter, and he's like got flamethrowers, but he's like DPS class. And then here's a tank bounty hunter. He's like got a battle station, like rockets shooting out his
Yeah.
back, and you can.
I didn't get to that point, so I was just like a regular dude just
Yeah.
taking hits, apparently, which is funny. But yeah, just to go on like on
world.
2, I was thinking Bethesda, but yeah, like CD Projekt Red would be a number 2, man. And then like 3rd, because this is all fictional, is the exact same group that made KOTOR, just like
BioWare? Fuck yeah. I mean, I don't know how many of the same people are still at BioWare. It's gone through so many changes because,
Yeah.
like, I heard Andromeda wasn't like it changed up. But when I saw Mass Effect, I'm like, man, if BioWare just made this with Star Wars, but I mean, like that was their Star Wars. Like it
the
was a
shitty ending
world.
on 3.
I mean, people give it a harder time than I think, but just they built a world
Yeah.
that characters and races and all these things inhabited. I'm like, they
Yeah,
have
dude,
the passion.
It's insane how big, like how early the game was, and how like small these intricate things were. Like intricate things were, because you go to one planet and like there's only like 2 people to talk to, but like it's still part of all the lore. It was like I thought it was really cool.
Can I ask another question?
Go for it.
I want to go the direction Jang went.
Mm-hmm.
What is the most unexpected type of Star Wars game that you could pick? Where you were like
Like a
the
style,
suit-
like obviously not an MMO.
well, you know, like
Um,
take someone's existing work.
I don't know. Like I don't want to keep the podcast silent.
I would say Miyazaki, Bloodborne, Star Wars. That would be fucking crazy. Like hardcore. Like you
That'd be
suck,
like-
you suck, but you eventually get good. Like
That shouldn't be called Knights of the Republic. That should be like the Old Republic.
yes.
And then just be like they're like old vibroblade, like getting your ass kicked by one Rancor shows up. I could. Oh my god.
The Sims.
Ooh.
Naked. Ooh.
There you go.
Okay.
I mean, that's the most surprising thing I can think of. Is just, you know, he like you're like a subordinate to like Vader's, you know, obviously army of the Empire or whatever. And so like you leave to work and you come back and you have like thoughts of like fucking Vader's always like choking me out or something like that.
I had one a second ago.
No.
Fuck. Damn it.
Was it first person, third person?
No, I was thinking of a specific studio or game developer, but I can't think of it.
Psychonauts.
The guys who made Serious Sam.
No. Who's that one? The college one. Or like,
Leisure Suit.
yeah, Leisure Suit
Oh
Larry.
my god.
You play
No.
Billy D. Williams.
I thought an interesting one.
Lando.
It would have
Seduce all the
quality. It
ladies.
would be high production value. But can you imagine like a God of War, a recent God of War or Last of Us style story being told?
You fight that worm?
No,
or
no,
whatever?
no. Like imagine because God of War would lean more in the you're empowered, but Last of Us, if it was Naughty Dog, it wouldn't be they are Jedi or they are Sith. It'd be like they're in the middle of a war.
Yeah.
It's like they're caught in the middle of this, and like how do they survive, and what story are they trying to weave there?
The thing is, like, there's
Oh my god,
there's already the
I have it.
what is it called? There's the one where you play like the you were like a Sith guy, and you're kind of going into the good side after. I can't remember it. Jedi. No,
Starfighter.
no. You're playing. It's a first
Jedi Outcast?
Yeah,
Yeah, Outcast. He's not a bad guy.
Well, I mean, I never really
he
fully
was
played
just
it.
like he was like Han Solo if Han Solo was also a Jedi because he would shoot.
Gotcha.
You would use your gun almost as much as your lightsaber for a lot of it. I love Jedi Outcast. That's one of the best.
I'm stuck on a part where I have to kill a rancor.
Rancor.
Like three times.
That
There's
game
like
is hard.
3 of them.
Yeah, there's
and like I kill one easily, and for some reason, one of the other two will always kill
one
me
of the
and
coolest
research
features
the
of
whole
that
thing.
game is if you turn on a code, it makes it so instead of like normally the game will have it where if you do cuts, it just goes
Yeah.
through the body.
Oh,
It doesn't
yeah.
cut through.
You can make it
do a
stay.
code where it cuts through every slice,
Oh, wow.
and it's just polygons. It's not like it makes
Yeah.
a clean cut. And the second thing that happens is whenever you kill someone in a lightsaber fight, it does a slow mo of that moment. So like anytime
So
I
there's
cut
a
someone
Smash
up,
Brothers.
it's just like they're like paper. What I was gonna say was The Last of Us. Imagine a Last of Us style story. Very much take that whole structure. It's Qui-Gon, it's Anakin, and the whole thing is this is non-canon. But imagine the whole Last of Us story, and instead of the cure or whatever, it's his midichlorian count, and he's the chosen one.
Damn.
But there's some backstory with Qui-Gon about him having, like Joel. That would be, I'd be into it. I don't know. And Jar Jar is the fucking guy at the cabin.
Got turned to
You're like, this kid's gonna be a Jar Jar
Jar Jar just trying to butt rape you.
with his long tongue. And then Watto would be in it.
Oh my gosh, dude.
They got Chensky. Yeah.
The cantinas. I just want to see those.
Oh, the
those things.
cantina?
All of them.
The elephant that plays the piano. I mean, there was a dance game. Some obvious other types of games that one of them that still blows my mind that it doesn't exist is a virtual reality lightsaber game.
I mean, kinda.
Beat Saber.
I mean, they can't be like, this is a
No.
Star Wars game because then they'll get.
No, I know, but like do a PvP. Like there's already shooter games like Rainbow Six Siege versions called Firewall Zero.
Arcades have it, dude.
No, that's against the computer. I'm talking about like you're at your home PSVR or Vive or whatever, and you're loading up into a For Honor style game,
That'd be cool
and you're
if
like
just vibrates too when you hit.
and Star Wars kids like I've been ready for this my whole life.
VR.
That
still
would be
young.
amazing.
VR is still very young. It'll happen.
I know, but I'm like.
I need.
Why aren't you like at the forefront of that? Like Star Wars, like that's what it's made. I feel like when I heard of VR, I'm like, I can finally play a lightsaber game.
I mean, the other thing is like licensing. Like obviously, the only people that have the ability to make a Star Wars game right now is EA, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they can't put it on a platform.
EA is not gonna fucking put it on VR. They're not even.
I'm just saying, why isn't the money makers at Disney pushing someone to do something in that?
Because
That's all.
they get into EA as well.
We don't know what that does and doesn't include, but let's get into the nonfiction. We're still in the fiction. Yeah, there's a ton of games I'd love to see made.
Sounds a good one.
My topic?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get into it more. Some of the inspiration in the after stuff, but some fighting games have been on my mind lately. Dragon Ball Fighter Z, the recent reveal or gameplay reveal of Mortal Kombat 11. And I was like, oh, we've talked about fighting games before, and I kind of want to know to you guys, your opinion, what are like the key elements to a successful or a fighting game that you enjoy? Like what needs to be there? And we can like go around the room with like different things.
I mean, just what comes to mind for me is as a base fighter is Street Fighter, like just a classic. It doesn't have very much. Obviously, these new style games have a lot to it. But yeah, back then it was just like
Like which ones have a lot to them?
Like the new Street Fighter games have like the you've got like a move where you like can take a hit before you actually
so you're talking about new in the series of Street Fighter, not just
no. Well, I'm trying to think of, I guess, like out loud the things that have been happening within these fighting industries. Because if I compare Street Fighter to like the way a newer fighter that just come out is Dragon Ball Fighter, Z Fighter or whatever. Okay. That one's completely different. That one has like, every button you press is already a combo move. Like you just spam square and it's already a combo. You spam X, it's a combo. You spam circle, it's a combo. And then from there's more intricacies. You like square X, circle, and that's a bigger combo or something like that. I feel like when comparing it to other fighters, it seems like a very dumbed down version of a fighting system. But the thing is that the complexity is still there. You've seen it in like the pro level. Like they pull out some amazing things. But when it comes to me I assumed Dragon Ball Z was not going to make it far after playing it like for a while with my buddies. I didn't think that was going to be. I was going to have it. That system didn't have what it takes to become a.
So you like a good system. I'm trying to understand what you do like.
Yeah. A good system is what I like.
Okay.
I'm just trying to like kind of like talk through what I'm trying to think of.
I wanted to go back to like I didn't catch. You ended it, and I was like, I don't know what your main thing was. Okay.
So I mean, I'll keep thinking about it if you guys have something to say.
It's gotta have cool looking characters and / cool looking moves. Like, for example, I would say like Nash. Like I just like the whole like one dead arm like in front. And like moves, like special moves I'm talking about in general, like super moves, like Hadouken, Shoryukens, like that's just cool looking. It just looks fucking cool. Sonic booms.
Yeah.
It has to have that. It has to have an aesthetic to it.
Okay. I had a similar notion. I mean, I was trying to think of this as well a little bit before the podcast of like, what is it to me? And I thought of like, what fighting games do I like? And you might argue it's not really a fighting game, and as a whole, this thing isn't really real. But pro wrestling, iconic look, iconic moves, signature moves. Those ideas are, I would say, common threads that fighting games, successful ones, have. You have Hadoukens, you have Shoryukens, you have screwdriver pile drivers, you have these unique moves that people like to emulate in real life, and I think that sticks, and I think pro wrestling carries over a lot of that. And I was like, oh, that is, like, I do really appreciate, like, I can't think of, I look at, like, Skullgirl, I look at Guilty Gears, I look at, like, some of these games I'm not as familiar with. I can't recognize any of the characters, like, distinguish them between each other, and I can't, for all intents and purposes, it looks like they're just doing standard, generic punches and kicks.
Yeah.
With an occasional, like, based on this person's costume, she's going to pull out that hammer that she's got behind her.
Guilty Gear has one weird.
Oh, really?
The paper bag guy.
I don't know.
He has a paper bag on his head.
And he's like a suit? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I've seen him.
That stands out. Like,
yeah. But, like, I think of, like, the Zangiefs, the Guile, his unique hair, and how, it's an icon within this fighting franchise. The Mortal Kombat stuff, like, the get over here. Like, people love just saying get over here. Like,
Yeah.
I think all that, like, everything that pro wrestling does, I feel like that has made pro wrestling successful. I think in some ways helped shape some of the things I like about fighting games.
So I guess when I was talking about it, I mean, like my first thought is the mechanics of a game. I guess that's what I was kind of trying to get at. I didn't even think about like the uniqueness of characters, you know, like the abilities and stuff like that. So yeah, like my first go-to thought when I think of a game that I think is going to be, or like that I think of a good fighting game is mechanics.
Plays well.
Like, I don't want, even though they're going to have cool moves, I don't want somebody to be able to do a move that's unblockable. Like, I just think that's like kind of like dumb. Like,
right.
You got to be able to like, time blocks,
100%.
like a parry, stuff like that.
I think it's even cool. Like you see Super Smash Brothers. I mean, like it's silly like moves. It's like here's your A, here's your B, and your side in those directions, and that's it. But there's such a level of complexity. It's like a low entry level, but a high learning, like a high potential.
Yeah,
I think that you're right. I agree. I think that's earlier you were kind of hinting at that.
Yeah,
of like you can get into it, anyone can play it, but if you want to become an expert at something, you could really
But I was also saying like I fell into I thought it was like a child's game, like it was too simple. But then you look at the pro level and it's ridiculous. But I think with the character complexity, I agree. Like having like I think they call it like copy characters or like copy paste characters.
So yeah, mirror characters.
I think that's something that you got to like really cut down on. Something similar, something that obviously comes to mind is Street Fighter. There's Ryu and Ken. They're very similar fighting styles. One is more geared towards kicks and one's geared more towards punches. But like it's still, they're very much a copy paste character when it comes to the looks of it. And I think that's something that you got to like really cut down on. You can't have something like that a lot in a game. For my game, essentially, a game that I think would be a really good fighting game.
Okay.
This should have been number one. Balance. The characters have to be balanced. Like this is why I like Street Fighter. I don't know if Mortal Kombat does updates. I know Street Fighter does.
Maybe
I don't
the
know
more
if
recent ones.
Dragon Ball Fighter, you guys have to correct us.
I think they do.
Yeah, because they're updating with new characters. Too.
Yeah, like balancing is so important. And it's like, the game is not balanced because they're still making tweaks. And they will make tweaks every season.
What's interesting is that's a modern game thing. Like Street Fighter 2. Whatever it was until Street Fighter 3 came out or Street Fighter 2 Turbo came out. Like the next game came out it was when they patched it.
That's the problem with those older Street Fighters. People will only use S tier characters. They will not like Bayonetta's. Like the last Smash Brother did. The Evo final was all Bayonettas, and so like there has to be balance.
It can lead to stagnancy. You would say
balance is important.
Use the force
or ban the character.
Well. Okay, so for you to say, I feel like you're touching on something, is that you're looking at it on a competitive level.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like you're saying that in order for this game to be a good game and successful, that is part, you're hinting at it, I'm going to go into it. Do you feel like a competitive scene for a fighting game is essential for that fighting game to thrive? Or do you feel like it could not have a competitive scene and still be a great game?
It doesn't have to have a competitive scene.
I think it does. I 100% think it has to have a competitive edge or like a competitive fan base that can perpetuate it. Because like the thing is, looking at Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers was never pushed by Nintendo like as a competitive game. But the fans made it a competitive game. It had its own competitive scene. And that's what propelled Smash Bros. To what it is today. And like, if you think of games that don't have a very big competitive scene, they also don't have a very big competitive or like a very big scene within the mainstream media,
Lifespan.
So I understand what you're saying, and I agree that has done a lot for it. But with Smash, I personally have never been in any sort of competitive thing. It wasn't until I heard people, like when there was places you could find on the internet to watch that, was when I heard of it. To me, Smash was always, hey, this is a couch party game. Let's all have fun tonight and play some Smash. I want to see if I'm better than you. It's like it's competitive in a local level. I don't call that competitive. I call that just like, let's just play a game together, like GoldenEye, we're gonna play.
And now, are you referring to back when you were a kid?
Yeah, I'm just saying when I was the first inception of Smash, my initial exposure to it was that never dawned on me.
Yeah,
but I'm sure like when people I'm sure there was a similar thing where some people would play Street Fighter 2 when it first came out and just be like, oh, let's just play amongst like whoever's at the arcade or whoever's my friend. But then there was another side to it where it was like I want to be the best person at this arcade. This is like my turf, and I want to like leaderboards, and there is that scene. And I don't know whether you can can you have just a competitive scene and no casuals, or can you have casuals and no competitive and still be successful?
Yeah, you can definitely have a mix of both.
No, not a mix. I'm just saying, like, is it a balance of the two? Like, I feel like most of them are a balance of the two, but I feel like some people leave the game and then it's just the competitive people. It's like if that dies, the game is gone.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just again like what you were doing. I'm thinking out loud, and I'm like,
because so obviously like that's if I think of other games back then that were a fighting game, there's like the Samurai Showdown. That game never had a competitive scene, and where's the game today? Like they are remaking it
on my Switch.
They are they are making a remake of it as well. But the thing is, like that was an arcade game. That was something that you go to, a Pizza Hut that has arcades. You go to an actual arcade. That's where you played that game. But it was never it was never on the big screen. It was never like a big named competitive game. And I think what propelled Smash Bros for you is the fact that it's word of mouth. People are talking about, have you played this competitive game? Have you played Smash Bros? And it's something that your friends probably mentioned to you.
No,
like, let me pick it up.
To me, it was my brother, his introduction to the game, or not introduction, his social circles. They played it, and when I wanted to play with him again, he was telling me about oh yeah, this is how it is now. I'm like, what? And it was like me behind, but I'm like, oh, this is, and it was like a whole different scene. I'm like, I mean, I could try, but I'm like it almost pushed me away because I was like, if everyone I'm playing is competitive, then I don't know if I don't have that level of like. But I
think that notoriety of that game is what got you to hear about the game in the first place, to play it.
No, and then, it wasn't. I'm saying it wasn't. I played it when I played it in 64 when I was a kid and I didn't know anything.
Yeah, but I mean, did you play it because your brother owned it, or did you?
No, he's younger. I was like, I want to play. Like, I saw Mario and I saw Yoshi and I saw Donkey Kong, and I'm like, yeah, that commercial. And I was like, I want to be able to fight against each other with friends on a couch.
Okay.
Like, so none of that was my initial. That was later, and it was like, oh, this is what it could be, and it opened me to that side of it that I hadn't seen before, which I'm sure was there.
Yeah.
Or I don't even know what the N64 Smash competitive, if that was even a thing, but that might be not so much the game's fault, but maybe the times. Like, Smash was a home game. You don't go, like, competitive then was arcade scenes.
Yeah.
Leaderboards at arcades, tournaments held at arcades. Now we live in a world where we have that at home in our personal internet and all that stuff, and it's shifted, but I don't know if I feel like in that period there might not have been a competitive N64 Smash, and now retroactively there is. But anyway, I digress. Do you want to go into yours now? Your next, like, do you have another factor?
Factors, because I said that competitiveness, the base mechanics of a game, the character, and then just going on to moves. I think I completely agree. Like, I think really cool, flashy moves is something that really entices people. It's something that can help build the popularity and something I would want in like a top fighting game that I would make or have or want.
Like, you would crank that up?
Yeah.
If you could?
The style.
I feel like the games that I think of that do that are like the DBZ Fighters and the Marvel vs. Capcom. Not 3 or Infinite, but 2, where it was like, I don't know what's going on anymore. And that to me is a thing where it's like, where did I lose control? Because when I play Marvel vs. Capcom, even if we're button smashing, at some point I'm like, am I even like, I'm not touching the controller and things are still happening.
Yeah, they're like stuck in like that. Yeah, you're thinking about it, I don't think I would crank it up that high, because I never got into Capcom versus Marvel because of that ridiculousness. Like, there's so much going on, I can't even follow what's going on anymore, even when I'm playing, And I think
it's like a pro con.
Yeah, and I think Dragon Ball Z kind of touched on that to the point where I was like, you know what, this kind of reminds me of Marvel, and I'm just not a fan of it. So I just never really continued playing the Dragon Ball game. So yeah, that's something I'm more of like a more basic. I enjoy the more basics in the game, which would kind of go back to Street Fighter, essentially having that not crazy stuff, but they still have that flashy move, but it's more mechanic, like it's more exact button entering rather than just like kind of just getting it similar.
18 things for tuning.
Exactly. So yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think of. Do you have any other ones?
Controls have to be really tight. Like one of the reasons I really didn't like early Mortal Kombat was the block button. Like,
yeah, that was
not early Mortal Kombat.
It wasn't even a button. Back. Yeah, it was holding back.
No, early Mortal Kombat was a block.
Button?
It was a block. You had to hit a button to block.
Okay.
And now they fixed, I think.
Yeah.
God, I like the
arcade stick,
the Street Fighter, like the Hadouken, the charge. I like that control schematics. just so used to it. Zangief, the
The
360, down forward
attack
to do special moves. Just
The
and
180.
Mortal Kombat uses it too.
Yeah.
But they have more like the forward.
Oh, okay.
But Mortal Kombat uses some Street Fighter, but I like this Street Fighter control move set.
taking out these moves.
I'm trying to think, like, a lot of these games we're describing are the 2D. Like, even if they're 3D, they're just they operate in one dimension.
We got Skullgirls.
Skullgirls,
There's
Smash.
Tekken.
I mean, yeah, the Tekkens, the Soul Calibers, and the Virtual Fighters.
Oh, like the
are,
3D. Okay.
Are like more the
Right.
you can move in the Z axis
Okay.
as well.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I wonder why is it we haven't mentioned it? Is that a
Virtual
deterrent
Fighter.
for you? The ability to move in another.
I love Soul Calibur too.
Yeah. What's
What
funny is,
makes
like,
it stand out?
I'm really good at it. Soul Calibur too. I'm just really good at it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so your proficiency in it makes
Yeah.
it enjoyable.
Like in that 3D style game, what I recall playing and finding very enjoyable was Virtual Fighter.
Why?
It's just like a game that I grew up with. Like it's
Okay.
just like it's like when I think of a 3D fighting game, that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Um,
The tall hair.
yeah, exactly. But like the thing is, I don't know. Like I guess the reason it doesn't come to mind is because those, although like they do now have competitive scenes, some of them like the more newer
Tekken,
ones, yeah.
Soul Calibur.
But it's just not there compared to like what the other ones are, what the 2D ones have brought into the competitive
Well,
scene.
what's interesting is like the 2D ones. I think part of it is like the legacy that they've had
Mm-hmm.
of like, oh, Street Fighter's been around, so there's a reputation, there's
Yeah.
a history, there's and I know Tekken and those other ones have, but I don't know, like Dragon Ball Z, no history whatsoever, successful.
Yeah, but
In the-
and it's a 2D.
No, I know, but I'm just saying like it came out of nowhere, so it doesn't have that notoriety. So maybe it's more just
I
the
think
way it
it's-
operates,
I
like a
think
combination of everything.
I think it's the simplicity, like the fact that it's a 2D doesn't have like adding that like that 3D like that.
Yeah, because there
space.
have been 3D Dragon Ball Z fighters. I just feel like that is more of an issue of maybe it's a combination of things. I think one thing I've noticed with 3D fighters is they are janky in a lot of ways. Like even though you're operating in 3D, it feels very like shift, and you're like hop,
Yeah.
hop, and hop. And I'm like, my guy would just like sort of sidestep like naturally.
Yeah.
And that makes me think actually of some more unorthodox fighting games. Like, is there any non-traditional fighting games that you find yourself enjoying? I'm gonna bring one up.
Yeah, go for it.
For Honor.
Oh.
I feel like that is in essence a fighting game because watching some streamers, they were describing their thought process as they were going through a best of 3 fight in a 1v1.
Yeah.
And it had all the things of a fighting game. It was like they were playing footsies. They were like learning the psychology of this fighter. They were baiting them with moves. They were canceling out. They were and I was like, this is
A fighting game.
this is Street Fighter. This is as much as any of the other ones. And I was like, that's impressive. Like Ubisoft is like, to my eyes, it was a third person hack and slash sword game that I'm so used to seeing with like the other type, the Assassin's Creeds, the Shadow Mortars, and all the old games. But I was like, I don't know. That was their intention all along, and I was just not seeing it. But I saw it, and I was like, whoa, this is cool.
Yeah. I can't think of another one.
No?
Because if I think of just a basic 3D, or I'm sorry,
Well,
2D.
what's a game where you
space.
see yourself like fighting?
Well, I guess what's that one?
Every game, I guess.
What's that one game where one character plays the queen bee or whatever, and people are kind of trying to attack that?
I don't think that's is that a fight? The killer bee?
Well, it's not a fighting game, but it's something you can consider because
No.
there's still things you can do to like cancel their team from stopping. That's something I'd consider similar to like a fighter. Obviously, it's a platformer or whatever, but this something similar. Like until you didn't realize that For Honor wasn't, just a hack and slash.
You're not fighting though.
You're not.
Tetris is a fighting game.
See.
No, I'm just kidding.
I can't.
No,
I can't.
you're
I can't
trolling
argue
me.
anything. No, I legit have an argument for that, but I can't think of a game that like For Honor.
Fight
where,
me.
I can't think of a game like For Honor that
The only other one I
is
could think
different.
of was I only did a little bit of it was Absolver,
What's
the martial arts
Oh,
one.
yeah.
also Nidhogg? It's like a territory fighting game.
Oh shit!
I haven't really played, but my cousin
Oh
loves
my god,
that one.
dude! Me and Roberto,
You play a lot of
the
Nidhogg?
first one. Yeah, it was ridiculous, dude. It's so funny because like when you die, there's you have to like restart. Like you spawn like on the edge of the map on your or like the furthest away from the character. But you always spawn with the sword, and you can lose your sword. You can toss it to the trying to get it, and there'll be moments where he's like trying to just run to his exit, and I'll toss the sword, and he's like and he dies. He's like shit, and you start running that way. You're just like It's so great, dude.
Nice. Yeah, I've heard it's fun.
Yeah, that's a really good one too.
I mean, another thought I had, and I don't know if there's any real merit to them besides the character creation, is pro wrestling fighting games. Like. They're like in the loosest wording of fighting game.
Especially the Def Jam ones with the rappers.
Well, in that case, we've got like boxing. Would that?
Yeah, I would consider it. UFC, I would consider it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fighting game, yeah.
I mean, the boxing ones were amazing. Like when they did like the most realistic ones.
Oh, yeah, PS3.
Yeah.
I remember that was the demo.
Yeah,
I would argue Tetris, too.
He's just like,
I'm just kidding.
He just don't agree. I think there is an argument there, though. I do think there's an argument that you can consider.
It's not a fighting game.
There's an argument.
It's not a fighting game.
We don't have to get into the argument. I think there's an argument there.
This is now going to be another hour. No, it's not a fighting game.
Well, I'll concede for now, but I don't want to argue.
Let the record show he conceded.
And yeah, so like
Seventh Extinction.
Dang.
Okay, so go.
So there's a lot more to it than I can like just think of it now because it's just slowly coming in, like the UFC games, boxing games, WWE games,
Clay Fighter.
Oh, okay. So this gets me on another topic. Before today, I was going through the Switch store just to see what was up, and yeah, Clay Fighter was what I was laughing about because I was like. I was thinking of the characters. The characters were my favorite thing about those games. They were not unique in any other way besides the characters. There was like, like the voodoo guy, the snowman, the blob, I'm a human
What
being.
about the celebrity deathmatch?
They didn't have a game.
No.
They should have had a game. That's a game. That game would be an amazing game.
Oh my God.
But I was browsing the Switch store, and I cannot believe what I saw. And I really want to buy it now.
Jousting.
Chungus?
It is called Chaos of Gods or something.
Oh, wow.
I need to look up the name again. It's on my wish list.
Is it SNK?
No. It's not that one. That one's funny for different reasons. This one's funny because it takes every mythology and god.
I know what it is.
Religion,
I've seen people play it.
And religions, and it makes them into fighting characters. And they have like Zeus, and he's got giant metal gauntlets. He's beating the shit out of people. They got some other gods from like Norse mythology and so. And then they got Jesus, and like his cinematic is he's on the cross and he breaks off, and the blocks are still on the ends of his hands, and he uses them to punch people.
Is this like in a like?
And then there's Buddha.
Is this in a more cartoonish style drawing?
It's in. It would say like it's trying to do Street Fighter 4 where it's like 3D models, but it's in 2D still. I would say no. It's very. It would be the look of the characters is in between. Is like Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Like 3D, but like blocky.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
But it, like not top quality either. And I was laughing my ass off because like you see Jesus like he's doing like he's being risen to heaven and it's a Shoryuken. He's like, oh. And then Buddha is like he's like that guy from Overwatch, the one that like does the ball stuff. And he's just like always like that, and like all of a sudden like a giant palm just strikes. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. The only thing I can think of is
like,
what you call it?
How much was it?
Like $10-15.
That's not
I was like, I might get you. I got some
party
points.
games. I got party games.
The Stephen Chow. What's the
Shaolin Soccer? Or, Kung Fu Hustle?
Kung Fu Hustle. Where he does the Buddhist palm, and it's just like the whole entire fucking street like has a palm print on it.
Another thing I saw was Power Rangers is doing a fighting game.
They've had fighting games.
They're doing a new one.
Wait, have they had fighting games where you fight each other?
No, they've had ones where it's like 4 players.
Yeah, it's like Ninja Turtles where you play.
They've had 2 1v1 fighting games
recently.
Super Nintendo.
Oh no, okay. This was like on the Switch coming out, and it's like you can pick the Green Ranger, you can pick the Red Ranger, and you just go 1v1.
What about Rampage?
It's not a fighting game, dude.
Right.
You're not.
Just trying to throw stuff out there. I don't know. Trying to see something that sticks.
War
right?
of the Monsters is a fighting.
WarioWare.
Whoosh, sticks. Perfect. Tetris stuck. You know, I'm just saying.
No, it did. Yeah. Okay.
Super puzzle fight now.
The Street Fighter thing.
Splatoon.
Hey.
Hey, stop! No,
Hey.
no.
Teams to fight. I don't know, man.
Okay, Halo. Halo is a fighting game. If you want to argue that.
I mean, that's a shooting game, but sure, dude.
Okay. All right, that's my topic. What have you guys been up to this week? Talk to me about that.
We did quite a bit of the Shattered Throne, bruh.
Way too much of Destiny 2.
So, yeah, you helped me. I was trying to do... What was I trying to do? Shoot.
I was trying to help you shoot.
No. I was playing Destiny, and
Which
I
is a
was
fighting game?
trying to do... I don't know why I was trying to do that mission. The one with the Zion at the end. You helped me out. You were like, I can only be on for like 30 minutes.
For the Forge.
Oh yeah, the Forge.
Stupid
Okay,
Forge.
so I was doing that one, and like it makes you do like an extra difficult version of like a standard mission. But the thing is, if you die, you get booted all the way back out.
You're
You
out
have to
of it.
redo the whole thing all over again.
I did it solo on both the Titan and the Hunter.
And my first run, I got to the boss, and I wasn't thinking.
I
Like,
didn't think that either because it happened to me too.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking if I died. So like I was on the boss, and he just like whacks me, and I fly off the map. And I'm like, okay, cool, die. And then it's like, and then it restarts. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I got time. I can redo it again. No big deal. So I restart the whole game. I get to the point where like it has
the orb.
you're trying to do the 2 orbs. And I pick up one orb, and I'm running. Or no, I pick up the second orb.
Okay.
But he runs all the way to the back of the map, so I'm running through the middle and just like, whunk, and I die. And I'm like, all right, I don't want to kind of do this anymore, you know. And I see you cop online. I'm like, help me. And you're like, I got 30 minutes. I was like, fucking, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, you told me what you were doing. Like, yeah, we could knock that out.
And so then when and then the next day I saw you online. I'm like, dude, if you need anything, I can help you out.
I was
and you're
like-
like, I'm doing something I think you might want to try to do.
So there's this thing we've talked about raids before in Destiny, which are typically 6 people, 5 to 6 people, elaborate, requires a lot of coordination. There's this thing that they've done where every 3 weeks, this specific location is at its highest volatile state. And when it is, certain things come up more often or reveal themselves or hidden secrets and stuff. And it's fun. It's like it makes it so you come back on that week and you get a little different content. And one of the things that I learned about, which I hadn't tried yet, was this thing called the Shattered Throne. It's a 3-person, what they call typically like a strike or a mission, like a standard mission. But it's in between that and a raid where it's a 3-person elaborate sort of maze dungeon. It's like essentially a dungeon in Destiny. And it's like, I was originally going through it, and there's like trophies or achievements in the game to do this solo, to do it without dying, and to do it solo not dying. And I was like, I mean, I'll try solo because every time I go to LFGs, they're like, know what you're doing. And I was like, all right, I'll start playing. And that was before you and I played it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I started playing it by myself. And the first part is this like, you have to kill the first guy. He drops a sign, and it tells you there's like 7 signs in this maze. And depending on the sign that shows up, that's where the next place
one.
you have to kill. And if you don't kill in that order, you're stuck in this maze.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, fine. But because everything hits so hard and I'm by myself, I have to be careful not to die. So I get through it, chip away. And eventually, yeah. And then that's when Vargas was like, hey, if you want, and I'm like, please join in. I'd love, like, would be infinitely more enjoyable if it was not just, because I'm just like, the slightest feather hits me, I'm dead. And so he comes in, we're like trying to figure out the mechanics. We eventually figure them out. There's like some elaborate
We did
ones.
that shit on the first try.
And we were doing it typing. We're not Discord. We're not comms or anything. It's like, okay, left.
I hop in, and he's like, we're doing the ogre. He has a shield. We got to kill these wizards. It gives us stacks. I'm like, cool, let's do it. And like first run, we fucking got it.
Yeah.
And so we move on. And then right after that, there's like a statue. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to the statue. It's probably
Yeah,
gonna
it
start
had
the
a little
boss.
thing, a prompt where it's like present an offering.
Yeah.
And I hit yes.
And I'm like,
And
I
then-
don't want to start the boss fight. I don't know if he's ready or not. So I didn't touch it. And he's like, and I'm like, did you touch the statue? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, that probably just started everything. And like we finished the whole thing. We finished this game.
we beat the final boss, and then I was like, all right, there's a quest that we can start now.
And I'm like, I don't.
And so I go to the place where it starts, and only if you do the offering do you see the prompt for the quest.
Statue, yeah.
And I'm like, do you see this? He's like, see what? I'm like, God damn it.
And I'm like, was I supposed to statue? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, I didn't touch it.
So then we go back.
So he makes the suggestion. He's like, do you want to do it over? I'm like, I'm down. So we do the whole thing over again just to talk to this fucking statue.
Which is like right before the 3/4 of the way in. It's like 4 parts.
You know what I realize now is maybe if I was the leader, I could have just like...
It wouldn't have worked.
Okay.
If we both got through it, it wouldn't have worked.
Okay.
So anyway, we go through it again. He gets the quest. Then we go through this quest steps, and it's like, now that you've done all these other steps, go back through that thing again and do certain additional challenges. So we do the first challenge.
Well, no. We hop back into the game, and it puts us right before the last boss because that's the save point.
Oh, that's right.
And this was on the same day we've been doing all this, and so like I was like, let's just kill this boss, and we'll start fresh on Monday morning.
No. This wasn't it. No. You're missing something. You're missing a whole step.
Okay.
So we did go back in. Because what happened was we got that offering.
Oh, that's right.
And then we left, we did this thing, and then it's like, go back in, do the quest, and there's a challenge. And we go back in, and it picks us up where the offering was, so we're like, oh, shit, that's a checkpoint.
Yeah.
So we had to finish it, do the quick boss, it wasn't big. We go back through now. Now we have to do everything we've done, but we have to add like 4 steps to it, like 1 at each spot. We're like, okay, we can't miss this. Pick this up, put it here. Okay, now move on, and something should show up. So we get to a part where you can't go back. It's like you have to run through this thing and then it drops. And we're there, and then we go to the room where we're supposed to fight the second of the 3 things we're supposed to do.
And it's a boss.
And I fall. I made a stupid mistake. I'm like, oh, whatever. Respawn. I'm outside that room. The door is closed now. I'm like,
and he can't run in.
Fuck.
And I'm in there by myself. And I'm assuming like, okay, if I die, we can respawn
it'll
and
reset.
run back in.
Now the door's locked and we're both out.
Yeah.
And the thing we left at the outside to like make it is gone. We're like, wait, where did we have to go back? So we go back, and then we see that we can't go back
this
up.
Giant wall, and like we're getting so close to try to get to the top.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So then
works.
we're like, how do we? We should just move on to the next.
But
not the second one. We should go on to the third one. We spent way too much
30
time.
to 45 minutes just trying to get on this wall. First of all,
I was like, let's cut our losses.
Yeah.
Move on to the next one. We go to the next one, and this was the most challenging part of all of this. And there was something was supposed to show up, and it never showed up, or we couldn't find it. I don't know which it was, but I'm convinced it wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it was supposed to happen in order. So then after that, we couldn't beat it at that time. I was getting salty. It was late. I was like, fuck. So that's when he was like, all right, let's pick this up. And I was like, oh yeah, I can't do this anymore. And so we came back the next day, beat it. Then there were some secrets we could get, so we beat that. We did it. We did this stupid dungeon like 9 times.
Well, once we beat it and finally got what we were supposed to get, it unlocks this weapon that you can break secret areas with now, or secret crystals essentially. And I was like, the dungeon we just did has 9 fucking crystals in it.
So we have to go back through it.
You want to do it again? And he's like, yeah. So we went through the dungeon, and we had to go through it twice again.
Because we missed one. Fuck.
It was so good.
Yeah, we got our fill of this dungeon.
Hey, we're pros, dude. Yeah. Single manning it? Easy, dude. Don't even worry about it.
Did you do anything else?
After that, I mean, I just I finished. I've done all the 3 forges on my own.
Okay.
I was explaining to you at the time. There's like a special like cube you get for the forge, and then you have to unlock. You have to find keys that unlocks 3 out of the 4, and I think the 4th one is that secret forge thing. And I've done the first key. And what happens is, like, when you're doing the forges on the second stage, there's these special orbs that come out. You know, like the ones that, like, when someone has a shield, you have to break that orb around their shield before you hurt them for the forges. That's just, like, in the random areas on the map. You have to destroy 2 of them. And then when that happens, when you finally beat the whole forge, a chest at the end appears at the same time. And that gives you the key. And the thing is, like, I haven't done the second forge and the last forge because those are really difficult to find the damn things. And then...
You watch any movies or anything?
I didn't. I wanted to on a Tuesday because Monday we did the thing. So on Tuesday I wanted to watch Replicas, but
because of our clone topic.
When I was
last
looking,
week,
it had nothing to do with it. It
has
everything to do with Keanu Reeves in it. But as I was like trying to find what movie theater had it, the app I use tells me like the rating. It had an 8% Metacritic score. 8%, dude. And I'm like, and I look outside and it's raining fucking cats and dogs. I'm like, is it really worth dying over this movie right now? No, it's not.
Just replicate yourself.
And I didn't end up watching the movie.
Okay.
It was just the rain. It was the rain's fault, dude. If it wasn't raining so crazy, I would have been like, I'm still down. But I was like, it's not worth risking my life. I could literally just, the moment I get on the street, I just swerve out of control and die and flip over. And
that's the synopsis of the film.
And then we get you digitally.
Yeah. We have a digital copy of you on this.
That's exactly, yeah, that's the synopsis of the video. His family dies and he tries to replicate that. So I didn't watch that. What did I do? I might have watched. At least last night I watched like a voice actor or a voice actress doing like 5 different voices in the same video, like really, really quickly. It's like a 2-minute video, and she did like 5 different voices. And I'm like, I really want to get into voice acting. And I spent like from midnight to 2 a.m. just making weird ass noises.
I'm surprised you still have your voice.
You know what industry is booming with voice actors? Hentai. Have you seen voice actors in studios? It's like just like a normal like adult woman, and she's just making like high pitched like, and like there's all these people just like professional audio technicians
like good. You're good.
Yeah, hold on, the bass, the treble. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
so you know.
I mean, there's a market.
So you know what you got to do.
But yeah, I was like, I'm gonna make a voice right now. And
it's Shaq's.
And it's Shaq's. And I don't even know. I can't. Now that I'm
I feel
on
like
the
you need a
spotlight.
personality for it. Like, do you have that? Do you have like what?
I have. So yeah, that's what it was
character?
like. The 2 hours is about, dude. I was trying to see how long it could last with like voices. I was trying to like come up with the voice, and then I was trying to use the voice to just speak normally, like. Hey, my name is Daniel. How are you guys doing? And just like the whole time, I'm like, can I keep this up? Will my voice get tired? Will like, will it start drying out? And I need fucking a gallon of water or something. And then after I did one voice, I was like, I don't know what other voice I could do. And I'm like,
who am I?
No, I was just like, I can't think of like a different type of voice. I couldn't think of like a deeper tone voice, like anything else. And so I was like, I can literally only do one voice. I can't do this. And I just went to sleep.
You had all this like deep thought. I think you should get a puppet and find a voice for the puppet. Because I'm looking at your shirt. That's what it's for.
Well, the thing is, like, I remember like
see what comes out of that.
I remember a while ago, I read a thing where this guy wanted to be like a voice actor, and someone was like, if you're gonna do that, you have to make like a demo reel. Keep the demo reel like a max of like 40 seconds. He's like, 40 seconds is still already too much. Like, they're going to literally just turn it on, watch a couple, and that's it. Like, you got to keep that attention span. And the guy's like, do like a young voice, an old voice, try to do like a male, female. He's like, just kind of throw them out there. And that's it. And then just like in the video, include your name, your address, how to get to you. He's like, in case they lose anything on top of like any information that's written on the videotape, he's like, it'll be in the tape.
In case you leave it at a medieval time.
Just be like that Pro ZD guy. Like, whoa, why don't you like do mini skits? Well, why don't we do it like this?
And then you're talking to the characters are talking to
mustache, like, oh,
but
wow.
yeah, the biggest thing was the guy's like, it's more beneficial to a studio if you have more than one voice, because they can pay you the same amount and use you multiple times as opposed to just like switching it out. Yeah. So he's like, the industry's moving more towards single voice actors that can do multiple voices, and that's what they're looking for. So they don't want to choose one guy that can do one really good voice. They want to have someone who can do multiple voices. That's why I was like,
makes sense.
That one really good voice.
I don't know. I feel like I'd be overworking then. I feel like if I'm being, I don't want to work in that.
Yeah, that's just how
I'm pretty sure they get paid well though.
Oh, okay.
Like multiple voices.
Okay. If you're getting paid for one role, but you're doing 8 roles.
See, the thing is, like, I think there's like a base pay. It's
you're
like,
working more.
Here's $5,000 for doing this one voice, but then they're not going to be like, here's $10,000 for doing 2. They're going to be like, here's $6,000 for doing 2 voices. It's just like 1,000 more.
No,
Like,
that's not, that doesn't make sense.
You know what's
I wouldn't
crazy?
do it. Don't do that.
The voice of BMO. You know how she started? She was a PA on the show, and they're like, "Dude, we need someone to do a voice. Be this voice for BMO or Lady Rainicorn."
Yeah,
She
yeah.
can do both of those. And
See, two voices.
so you just got to be a PA. And
Did she get paid twice? Probably
No,
not.
you just gotta be a PA. That's what his lesson was.
that's my.
I remember AP. But yeah, anyways, like that's what he's
Okay.
saying that the industry is leaning more towards. So I was like, I can't do more than one. I'm not making it, and I just went to sleep. I was like, my conscience is
Dreams
free.
rise and fall in the span of 2 hours.
Hey, 2 hours is a long time, especially when you're
In a
sleeping-
hyperbolic time chamber.
when you're trying to sleep.
Jang, what have you been up to?
Oh, I went to Big Bear this weekend.
Oh.
That's why we did an earlier recording.
That's what.
Piece of
Earlier.
crap. We did
No,
not do
that wasn't. That wasn't.
That was
why.
not the reason why.
That wasn't why. What are you talking?
He had to meet his brother
Oh, now we're blaming Kurosh all of a sudden.
with our new guest.
Bring in the guest.
But yeah, I went with college friends that I haven't seen. I see him like once every 5 years.
Really?
And I came to the realization that I'm really up to date on the memes because I was shooting off memes and they had
Chungus, they're like, what the fuck?
yeah, they're like either I'm like it's because of the podcast and my viewers and the and consumption of internet media. I am the meme lord. Just call me meme lord.
That's what they.
Yeah, dude, I would tell him something. The joke. I was like, and then I had to show him the meme. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
I think that does have to do with the fact that you're like you stream and you're trying to stay up to date with at least that audience.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's just how it is.
You guys are around the same age?
Yes.
Are
Well,
they
it's
in
like it's a
different-
range. It's a range.
Well, okay,
There's some
sorry,
people
not,
are younger.
not age. I meant, are there some of them like starting families and all that stuff? Because I feel like in those cases,
One was.
Okay.
One brought his son.
okay,
So.
because I feel like that can impact that because you're not having the time to like go through
Right,
Twitter, or whatever you're going through. You're like whatever my family Facebook's, well, like whoever's in my Facebook is where I look through, and then the rest of the time is like in your personal like space. But yeah, I mean, there's been times as well where I'm like, I'm referencing something that is like over some people's heads, and then I feel the way you feel with my brother. Every time him and my cousin get together with me, I'm like, what do you guys? I feel like I'm like, what's a chungus?
What's a big chungus?
Esports? Huh? I'm like, this is what my dad feels like when I talk to him about Mario Kart.
Damn.
Are you guys emailing about sports?
He's like, yeah, but the way my dad is was funny, and I feel like this is an exaggeration. If he sees me on the computer and I'm doing like a Microsoft Word, he's like, why are you playing video games? Anything that involves my computer on, he's like,
Video
you're just
games.
playing video games.
What's funny is
TurboTax.
one of the guys over there, one of my friends, he was like, his dad came up to us, hey, Adi, have you heard of this thing called YouTube? I was like, he's like, yeah, it's been around for a while. And he was telling me like, your cousin, he's making money. Like, so his cousin is actually an esports like league player in Indonesia. And he even disclosed it. He makes about 80K a year.
Wow.
But that's a lot in
Yeah,
Indonesia.
yeah.
That's like
That's a lot here, dude.
his team captain, that guy's team captain has a Lamborghini.
Damn.
Like in Indonesia. So like he was telling my friend to do YouTube, but YouTube's been around for a while.
You heard about this on YouTube? He's like, yeah, Dad, it's been a
You
while.
make money. Videos.
So I saw one thing you did. You did like a live. You did something where you were like live.
shit.
So I'm curious, did that like jar people? Like,
Dude,
they're like,
I
what
lost
is this?
subscribers, dude. Holy shit.
what?
I lost like 6 subscribers.
Why?
So you did a live stream in Big Bear?
Because I showed some half naked dude in a hot tub. There was a hot tub inside
Live
the fucking
cam.
living room, dude.
No,
I
but
thought that
like,
shit was a
did
waterfall,
the people that were there be like, "What is your live stream from your phone?" Like, I imagine that could be a jarring thing.
I think they knew what it was,
Okay.
but they've never seen it.
Okay.
Um,
Did you have fun?
it was cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to see them They think I'm like some big YouTube
I mean-
star, but I'm not,
You're
dude.
in
Like the,
Twitch Hollywood, dude.
Well, because you're always like
well, he
promoting
has
your
a second podcast over there, so shit, making that second money. But I am not.
Second
I am
breakfast.
not
Do you
that
ever
big.
show them your characters? Your
No. No.
The
They
wig?
see my clips though.
Yeah?
They've mentioned, they're like, yeah, dude, we see you, like your clips, dude. Like, there's like 5 people watching, dude. Like, there's like
Do you
dude,
ask them why they're not subscribed to your channel?
I think one is, but yeah, a lot of them, it's not their thing.
I know,
That's
I know.
that's the
So
thing.
they don't grasp the concept of like viewers, how many viewers you have.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it's just like
I mean, I feel like you could talk about a TV station and how many viewers.
yeah, but like with the TV station, you don't normally like ask like, oh, how many people are watching this right now? You know?
Oh, okay,
With
yeah,
YouTube, it'll
yeah.
have that number.
Yeah,
and,
that's
like,
true. That's true.
It's just for them. Like I feel like seeing the number is still irrelevant. They're just like the fact that you have a YouTube, you're famous. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
just
that's
having one.
How much
Yeah.
money have you made? And it's like
$100.
100
My
here,
best
and
sex video.
there. 100 here and there. But
Are you working with Activision now?
I am. Oh, I got invited to fucking what's it? MCN multi-channel network. I'm not gonna.
Twitch Hollywood?
No, it's not Twitch Hollywood, but I'm probably not gonna do it.
Remember when we went to IM8-bit and they had the
Machinima.
yeah, Machinima. That Machinima's an NCM, right? Or whatever. Yeah, so I've heard really bad things about them. Like
Why?
specifically Donkey. Donkey had one where I don't think it was with Machinima. I don't know who he tried to partner with, but he made a deal where it's like you're guaranteed this much money, and he's like, perfect, I can guarantee this much money. I'm gonna move out of where I live to a much better spot.
Oh.
And then got completely screwed over because he wasn't. They were telling him to like make these type of videos, make these. And he's like, that's not my content. I'm not gonna make
Yeah.
that. And he was like, you know what? Nah. And he got screwed over because he got everything canceled and he's in
Yeah.
this new, more expensive area.
Commitments.
Yeah.
I just recently found out Maximilian Dude is on an MCN. He got fired.
Or was.
Yeah, I saw something. Well, so what happened there?
I don't know. He just got dropped. They didn't give him a reason, and he was like, "I'm just gonna go independent." I mean, he might as well. He's.
Hell
Yeah, I
man.
didn't even
Yes,
know
he
I thought he was a full-time
I thought,
streamer.
yeah, me too.
You know what? I thought something was up just because he has like it's like a big thing with multiple people a lot of times on the
Oh,
show.
yeah.
And I was like, there's no way he's just like a solo person.
but that's
He
his
is sometimes.
friends. That's his,
That's like late nights is when
Yeah.
it's the four of
Gotcha,
them, but
gotcha.
like not late nights. He's by himself
Gotcha.
playing whatever game. Cool. Anything else?
read some Hobbit. Oh, we played some Smash and I dominated because these guys aren't gamers. There's just one guy that had Smash.
Did you play Puyo Puyo?
I didn't. I thought so. I thought one of my
Damn.
friends was really
But
good.
that's
At,
a fighting game.
I thought one of my friends was a really good Tetris player. I mistook him for another one of my friends. And he was like,
so
I was
you
like,
read.
fuck. I was like, damn. But we played Smash. We played just Shapes and Beats, Jackbox.
Oh, nice.
Jackbox is a good one.
Yeah.
The shitty one though, the one on the Switch.
They're all on the Switch.
Oh, well, the one that he has at least.
Oh, the latest one?
Read some The Hobbit, and I think
On your own time or as like a whole group?
on my own time.
Turn to page 4. John,
Everyone,
it's your turn
please-
to read.
Please turn to page 4.
I'm almost done with The Hobbit. I'm like 20% left.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's a short one.
That's pretty much it.
Cool.
0% into reading The Hobbit right now.
Oh, Resident Evil 2 streams. Fuck, dude, that game is good. God damn, dude. I'm not even halfway done with that game. So there's
You started the game? The full game?
No, not the new one.
Oh, I totally forgot. So during the weekend, One Shot came out, the demo. So One Shot means you can only play it once and you're done. Like if
Wherever you stop,
yeah,
it's over.
you're done. And so like I'm playing it and dude, it kind of freaked me out.
It
kind
gives
of-
you that fear, dude. You're
Yeah,
just
it's
like,
kind of, it doesn't have the. I wish they had the weird camera angles, but they don't have that. And now like that's the closest thing to what The Walking Dead feels like, because you'll hear zombies like tap on the window and then they'll break through the window. You'll hear the window break. You go, oh fuck, I gotta.
That
get
makes me think
fuck
of
outta here."
Dead Space. I remember Dead Space was one of the first games to get me freaked out. Like I was like,
just through sound.
yeah.
And I'm playing it, and I was like, my goal was, dude, I gotta fucking beat this because people have beaten it, and then
Bojan beat it.
I think time ran out, right? Time ran out, and then my actually a lot of people were watching on the chat, and they were like, "Dude, you were so fucking close." I was like, oh.
Can you like?
Starts new PlayStation account.
Did
Downloads.
you, did you look? Can you make like a new PlayStation account? To like,
I could, but it's not
Yeah,
worth
it's whatever.
it. I think I'm gonna get the game. I'm sold. I gotta beat the old one, but I'm not even halfway done with that.
So
fucking
this
game.
one that you're playing right now, this is the one. The
It's
One
about to
Shot is
come.
a remake of this one.
Yes.
Okay.
But it, like the closest style, from what I understand, is Resident Evil 4. Like the camera angle controls.
Yeah, right. But like the storyline
yeah,
is
it's two.
of two. Okay.
It's like Resident Evil 7 graphics, Resident Evil 4.
game mechanics. Resident Evil 2 story.
Yeah, but fuck, I wanted to beat it, dude.
You were that
I was so close. They were like, dude, you were fucking close. I was like,
Just opening the door, that was it.
yeah, I had the key because I couldn't find the key. I was like, where the fuck is the key?
It's like our Shattered Throne.
And if I didn't fucking, you know what? It's survival horror. You're not supposed to fucking kill the zombie. You're supposed to kind of thin them out.
So you wasted
So
time.
yeah, I wasted fucking time.
You're mowing him down, wasting
But
time.
Resident Evil 2,
C'est
fantastic.
magnifique.
20 years old, still scares me like a little baby. Knocking on me.
I think because you played it a while ago, right?
He's playing.
This is
right
my
now.
first time playing it.
There's one where you played. I don't know if it was which one it was, and you ran back and a dog jumped through the window.
That's the remake.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the, yeah, that was a long time ago.
I remember watching this.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit. Good times.
Yeah, so a lot of Destiny, the Shattered Throne stuff for me. Then now it's been Iron Banner that's out, so I'm just plowing through that. I've reset. So you have a rank in, like, if you're playing PvP, you have a rank, and there's a thing in a quest that I've been chasing, grinding after for that and for Gambit, which is to one of the steps in it is to reset my rank 5 times in a season, and I have till February to do that. Usually Iron Banner weekends, that the experience you get is doubled or tripled even. And so now I played a lot today, and I'm coming in on my 3rd reset.
You're not gonna make it.
I'm gonna make it. If I can hit level 40.
Make a bet. Make a bet.
Well, no, because
Do you want to lose? Because I'm
it's
gonna
like
win.
the moment it hits February, it's done.
No.
Okay.
No, end of February.
Okay. Then
And I got to do the Gambit one, and I got one more reset for that, and I can do that.
Make a bet.
it's just a lot of work.
Bet.
I know.
Make a
I can
bet.
do it. I know you're gonna be like. "Nah."
Yeah, it's just like
I put this much fucking effort. It's literally 2 things. One for
yeah,
each.
we
that I
fucking
made.
did Shattered Thrones.
No, that's a separate thing.
yeah. The effort is there, though. Is what I mean. I see it. You know, for
Oh
this
my God,
game,
that scared the fuck out of me.
it's a little kid. He's
Resident Evil
like
fucking 2 bunching through the
Zombie
fucking
coaster.
wall.
the
dude.
little kid.
So-
"Fuck, the zombies are here.
Outside of Destiny, I got a new game computer chair. It came in today,
You could sleep.
and it is weird. Like, I like it, but I'm like the width of the seat is thinner than, or it curves
I'm getting
in.
used to it.
Yeah,
but
I think
it's
that's an
these
adjustment.
Fucking armrest things that piss me off.
Really?
They don't lock. Like you can twist it and they never
Oh.
lock. And I'm just there's times where it's like I'm like fuck, and I gotta like move it back.
I do love. There's the cushion. It's
Yeah.
like those racer seats. The cushion on the lower back. The one up here, I don't like.
So
I'm
there's-
always like,
I've found like a
Welcome to the
perfect
nipple
like
stream.
I found a perfect like position.
Angle?
Yeah, angle. Where like this the with the pillow, it makes me straight.
okay.
And I was like, this is perfect. And then sometimes I might even inch it a little forward so I can kind of like push
Yeah.
myself back.
Lean back like a cholo.
And yeah, and I'll just so sometimes I'm like purposely trying to like
Yeah,
when
push
we were
it.
doing Shattered Throne, I was like fuck all that, and I was like fucking
But I love the cushion on the seat. It's good. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I built the chair. It's been good. And then the last thing I've done, or no, 2 things I did. I watched 2 movies, one from Red Rocks and one in theaters. I watched Teen Titans Go, the movie, or Teen Titans Go to the movie. That movie is weird as fuck and funny as fuck.
So they saved Justice League.
Well, what?
What do they?
So the whole thing is they want a movie about them. They're like, you're not a real hero until you get a movie made about you. And like Robin is obsessed with this. And this movie director is like the villain, sort of, not really. And then they meet Slade. There's a lot of jokes within Warner Brothers and outside. Like, I'll give you an example. Stanley shows up, and he's like, "Greetings, everyone. I'm Stanley." He's like, "Mr. Lee, this isn't a Marvel movie." He's like, "This is DC." Oh shit! And he runs off. And it was him. It was Stanley. And then there's other parts where they're like, fucking, it got weird. Like they're referencing, they literally changed the animation style to be hand drawn like Lion King.
Yeah.
And they're doing the Lion King sunrise thing. And it is the weirdest, funniest thing I've seen. Like the way that they draw like Mufasa, Batman, and like all the other. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like this is so weird and random. It's like Oh my god, it's like Robot Chicken meets like Teen Titans chibi, and it like got dark. Like that small thing, they go back. They're like, oh, if we're the only people around, then we'll automatically be heroes. So they do this little silly thing. It's a goofy cartoon. It's a small part of it. They go back in time, and when they go back in time, they go back to all the superheroes' origins. So Superman's planet's about to get blown up.
And they save it.
And they save it with a dubstep concert on the crystals. Oh. And like it gets all weird and dubstep-y. I was like, what the fuck? The baby is twerking. I'm like, what am I watching? They stopped Batman and his parents from going into Crime Alley. They're like, what the fuck? They're like, they literally say, why are you walking into Crime Alley? It's called Crime Alley. And then they're like, oh, okay. And so they solve it, and they're like, all right, great, we can be heroes now. And the world turned to shit. And this is all in the span of like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
They're like, we got to put everything back the way it was. So when they go back, they show each of the things. And seeing them push Bruce's family into Crime Alley, I'm like, oh, man, that's dark.
This is a really nice fucking alley. Just...
Oh, like I was like, I don't know if they should have shown it. I don't know. It made me feel weird. Anyway, so that I watched that. It was funny. I laughed really hard. I'd recommend it to like rent or something. And it's like an hour and a half. And then I went to the theaters to watch Dragon Ball Super.
I want to watch it.
Broly. And fucking...
Does it only...
It is the best Dragon Ball I've ever seen.
Was it only on the 17th? Or is it like released on the 17th and you can watch it?
It was like a one time in theater. Fuck. And then I think it's going to be home. But it did so good that I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, we're bringing it back.
They're not.
It was fucking good. Like, story was great. Animation, best Dragon Ball animation I've seen. Like, there's parts where it's standard animation like you would see in Dragon Ball Super or Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. And
then there are parts, like, it's not even full different parts of the movie. Just, like, different scenes are animated differently. Like, one of them looked to me like it was out of Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Like, it looked 3D, fighters. Another part... I'm trying to think of like an anime, like the animation style made me think of like Kill La Kill, Fooly Cooly, like very fluid, fucking fast paced. And like Broly is like, I've never been familiar with his past movies, but from my understanding, he was very brutish and very just like, he didn't do much, but his story wasn't really like built.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, he hates Goku for some reason, whatever. Mm-hmm. They spent the first good 20 to 30 minutes building a solid, sad, sorrowful, tragic story that ties everything in, and in such a simple way. Like it's not like overdone. It's done enough, and then from that point on, like if there was subtitles for this movie, it would have just been like like everyone was screaming, and like the theater was packed.
So enough action is what you're telling me.
It was like my eyes hurt. Like I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why there's still power? Like, and it wasn't powering up dramatic pause. Yeah. It was powering up while they're fighting and doing. It's like they cranked it up. It was fucking good. Like I want to rewatch it. It was so good. The music was good. The cast was great. Like I guess I went with a friend, and they were telling me that there's like a fan made like a dubbed thing that they've done. Dragon Ball A or DBA. I think is the acronym for it. And they do a lot of like funny, more dirty, more silly jokes, and the creators are fans of that, and they've enjoyed that content, and they were inspired by it to do some of the like the joke, the lightheartedness they did in this, where like they did the part where like it's a thing that happened. So this movie happens after the Super series ends, and something happened in the Super series where Frieza returns, and Goku somehow was involved in that. And Vegeta's like, you're a dumbass. And he's like, what? Why are you calling me a dumbass? He's like, because you are. You're a dumb. And like he says it in a very like blunt but funny way. I don't know. It was so you caught you off guard, but it made you laugh. I don't know.
Because he says dumbass.
Well, just like the way they were having like a regular conversation. He's like, because you're a dumbass. Yeah. I don't know. It was funny. There was many moments like that. Frieza was hilarious. Everyone was top notch. And
Robo Frieza?
No.
Oh.
I don't care. I don't know if you guys care about spoilers about Super. Okay, spoilers. If you want, like, we're gonna stop right here after this Super thing. But I'm gonna talk about Super. So they're doing this power tournament with other multiverses, other universes, and the universe they live in, we need another fighter. And for the beginning of the Super series, they had fought Frieza and trapped him in the dead realm or whatever, and he's just stuck there. Abridged, yeah. Okay.
So Dragon Ball Z Abridged is the fan.
Yeah. So he's stuck there, and he's like in hell pretty much, and. Goku was like, we need another badass fighter in our team because we're not going to win as a team. And so he's like, all right, I got to do something I never thought I'd do. And he gets Frieza to join him, and Frieza has like a new form, like a gold form or something. Ooh. But now he's alive and he's free after that tournament.
Yeah.
Which this movie takes place in. And I imagine the way this story leaves off is going to have some sort of... I don't know if Super ended or if it's going to have a continuation in another show, but it definitely left a room for like where it could go next.
Did you watch Super?
Yeah, I've watched everything up until that last tournament.
Oh, okay.
And Super's really good.
Yeah.
But this the animation and the fighting was fucking top notch.
Yeah, usually with the movies is completely separate animation compared to what the show is. And it always ended up being a lot better. Yeah. I watched the when they introduced the cat dude.
That was so that movie was essentially the first 9 episodes of Super.
Okay.
So they did the movie, and then Super started, and the first 9 episodes pretty much turned it into episodic bits of that movie.
Yeah.
I'd imagine whatever they continue next with the show or shows that they do, this movie will be broken up into episodes and just be rejudged. The fan service, by the way, was weird. It was oddly male focused. Like every time Vegeta was on the ground, he would sort of like arch his back and like his ass was. I was like, the fuck? Okay, sure. I don't know. It just caught me off guard. I was like, all right, I guess. Yeah, he is pretty ripped.
I forgot to mention a couple trailers came out.
Teaser trailers?
Go ahead.
Spider-Man.
Lame.
I didn't like the trailer.
I like Mysterio.
That's the one thing.
So my theory is this. Because the Spider-Man and Far From Home is supposed to be after Avengers Endgame. Right. And in the trailer, Nick Fury shows up and talks to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That very much reminded me of the relationship Spider-Man and Nick Fury have in Ultimate Spider-Man, where Spider-Man isn't as much doing this because he wants to do it. He's doing it because he's being told to do things. And there's this tension of whether you're doing things because they're right or whether you're doing things because he's telling you to do these things. And it has sort of like an adult song, not in the way that Tony Stark is, where he's like a guiding father. It's like an authoritative figure.
I just gotta say, the title "Far From Home," and with what the events of what happened in Avengers, Infinity Wars, I assumed Far From Home in outer space. That's just all I'm saying. That's just my assumption. I thought he was somehow going to be like revived, and he had to just make it his way back. I thought that was like the idea.
But okay.
Well, because things happened, and I thought when he came back, he was going to be where he was originally, and he has to make it back on his own. And I thought that was, I don't know why. I just Far From Home. I assume outer space. That's not very far from home.
That's far?
I don't know why. I just don't assume
far is
that.
relative.
It is. And it's just like, that's very close to me for relativity.
Okay.
I don't like Mysterio. Or in this film, it looks like he's an elemental controller and not an illusionist or special effects.
Would you think? Are you thinking the production value, if those things are is too high?
No, it should be higher. I envision Mysterio. There's a comic, I can't remember, Web of Spider-Man something, where Spider-Man and Mysterio have this crazy ass fight. He cracks open Mysterio's bubble head. Venom pops out, but it's not really Venom. Venom changes into Galactus. It's just like
a psychedelic.
But
I think at that point it starts breaking realism. It's like, okay, how would Galactus come out of his helmet?
Well, the thing is, again, this is the trailer. We have no clue what Mysterio's going to do.
He looks like he's an elemental thing, and I don't like him controlling elements. I want Mysterio to be Mysterio in the comics, where he uses special effects.
We don't know.
Okay, so there's two things. I think he will use special effects and trickery because that is essentially like looking at what they did with Homecoming with Vulture. I look at what they did, and they did the Vulture. He had a suit, he could do all this stuff, but the thing that made it different was it was directly tied to the tech that they scavenged from Thanos's people and the whole Avengers stuff. So I'm imagining there might be some tech that, like looking at Mysterio's outfit, I'm like, that looks like it could have tech that he comes across. And maybe before then, he was just like a mild-mannered illusionist practical effects man. And this lets him do things at a higher level budget. And he's doing really elaborate stuff. And he doesn't, I don't know. Like, I imagine that's part of the story. But I feel like Marvel's smart enough to know that people aren't going to immediately, like the trailer portrays him as, he looks like a hero. Like all the things he's doing is heroic looking.
It's showing Spider-Man fighting these.
We
things
know who Mysterio is, and he's a villain. So they're like, I think they're playing with our expectations in that sense. Maybe he's a tragic villain. Maybe he's a villain with an additional layer of like craziness. Because Jake Gyllenhaal can play crazy. So I don't know. I'm curious.
At least
I'm not like hyped, but I'm not like on it. I'm like, this will be interesting. I'm not, like I'm less hyped for Captain Marvel, if anything. I have like zero like care.
the only thing I don't like is the voice associated with Jake Gyllenhaal. Like he has
his voice.
He has just that voice that like I can't like. I just every time I hear it, I'm like, I know that's Jake. Like there's nothing to it, and it didn't change anything. He didn't try to go with anything different. It's just I don't know. I don't associate that voice with the character. I don't like Jake Gyllenhaal's voice for this character essentially.
Okay.
So when he says like you don't want a part of this, I was like, oh, it doesn't sound good to me.
Okay.
I don't know. That was it. That's the only reason I didn't like it. Oh, that and the fact that I thought it was gonna be fucking Far From Home.
I mean, maybe that's his big trick. Mysterio's like on an alien planet doing this whole movie. The movie is the illusion.
End credit scenes, we'll find out.
And then someone snaps, and then Peter starts having PTSD.
You have a shirt about another trailer.
Oh yeah, which I thought was the best trailer of this week that came out, Ghostbusters.
Is that really a trailer though?
I feel like a lot of trailers don't use like, for example, a big example is Miami Vice. Like when that movie came out, they should have just bring in the old school. Dun, dun, No. I mean, fuck. The Miami Vice theme. Why don't like people?
I feel like those are teasers.
Yeah,
I don't know. I have a
teaser.
very.
That's not a trend.
To me, I know they're both essentially like advertising in a small time frame, but like to me, a teaser is just like a hint at the tone, whereas a trailer is like here are story beats or here are characters. Maybe even if it's a montage of characters and no story beats, I feel like a teaser is just like logo or like what the Ghostbusters. And I thought that was a good one. Like for what it did, it was good. The music perfectly timed with it. The way, so is it real?
Yeah, it's real.
It's a real teaser.
Jason Reitman, his dad is Ivan Reitman. That guy did the original Ghostbusters, and Jason Reitman did Juno. So it's gonna be very interesting.
The only thing is that what we've heard now about like the children being casted, I don't know if that's real or not. I don't. That's still I think
it's very soon for that because I don't know.
What I heard was it wasn't before that children thing came out. It was a younger version. Of
so then it could be young adults.
Wait, the same people?
No.
Oh, so young team, but
same characters, young actors.
The only thing I would change in that teaser trailer.
Wait, go ahead.
Is as it's zooming into the barn or whatever, it's showing like lightning inside or like this spark or whatever. I associate that with like the trap, the ghost trapper, like a ghost trying to escape. I'm not sure if that's what it was supposed to be or not, but I would have like as it zooms into the car and like it opens up to reveal that that's the car. I would have done one final burst with like the trap coming into the show. So it's like. Bzzz, and like kind of just falls there, and like it ends there, and it goes da da dun 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 dun.
Okay,
I don't know.
I could take it or leave it.
Yeah,
but I can see what you're going for.
But I'm taking it. Thanks.
I hope they bring back Gozer because technically Gozer doesn't. She just leaves, or he/she. She doesn't die. She leaves. She just says, "Choose your destroyer." They pick Stay Puft, and she disappears. Bring back Gozer.
Maybe.
Gozer.
Hashtag bring back
Gozer the Gozerian.
What's the other
Which
trailer?
in the female Ghostbusters, they hint at it. There's an after credit scene. They're listening to something. I don't know. She said something about Zool. And I was like, oh shit, that's fucking tight.
And then there was another trailer.
John Will? Wick?
John Will. John
Wicker
Will 3.
Man.
Yes. Nicolas Cage is the villain.
Nicolas Cage was in Teen Titans Go as Superman.
Ooh.
He's in Spider-Man, too.
He was Spider-Man and Superman in the year 2018.
Oh my gosh.
Fucking the man is MVP. But yeah, John Wick, the third final part. There was a trailer.
So this is the one I feel we have to talk about because I also didn't feel like it was a strong trailer.
I didn't
I
watch
feel
it.
like you thought this wasn't supposed to be set in space as well, and that you had your expectations elsewhere.
I mean, I thought his dog got lost in space. I thought that's what he was going after, you know?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the second one didn't fail me. The first one was great. How did you feel about the second one? Did you enjoy it?
I really much enjoyed the second one. What I got to say, though, is when I watched the first one, I thought it was a good film. I didn't think it was a film that needed to make another, that didn't needed to have another movie.
Sure.
But I didn't think that the first one did anything crazy. It wasn't. I don't feel like the story was magnificent. I didn't think anything was
it's
amazing.
not.
I don't feel like Keanu Reeves was excellent acting. I feel like there are certain things that happened in that movie where I felt it was really weird. But overall, I thought the movie was good. Okay. And when they made a second one, I'm excited because in general, I love Keanu Reeves. I'm okay with this. And now this third, I'm like, I don't know how I got to this point. I'm
okay, the
super
second
okay
one,
with
you
it.
should know how it got to the point.
No. Wait, obviously, story-wise, I know.
Okay.
But, it's just, I was, going from just watching the first movie, I was like, I never expected there to be a third John Wick film. This is insane to me.
Huh?
So,
It's
it made money. So
Yeah, that's how it happened.
But I still really enjoy it.
To me, it harkens back to the old action days. We got action movies that weren't comic book related or reboots of something else. Mm-hmm. I don't know, the latest Mission Impossible, John Wick, a handful of others. They're these action movies with just cool set pieces, and that the story is just all right. It's nothing stand out. But the action is what really makes it the spectacle. The way he trains, all the videos of him training for these scenes added to that did more for the movie than the actual trailers did.
I've never seen any of the films, but
What?
when I think of old action films, I always think of Arnold and his one-liners, stick around.
Oh my God.
I don't know. It kind of it doesn't go to that, but it does have a little bit of play because there's a world within this world. He used to be an assassin in this world of assassins that lives among everyone. And there's a rule set and parameters of it and abilities and tools available at them. And as you're going through these movies, it opens up that and you're like, whoa, there's characters in this world. It's sort of like Mos Eisley's Cantina where there's bounty hunters here, there's mercenaries here, and you're like, this is living and breathing. And that that's part of the cool. But where it gets fun is they're never blunt about I need a gun. He's like, what's on the menu today? He's like, we have a fine, and then he describes the gun, and he's like, and then for dessert, and this and this and this, and I'm like, okay, they play with it. They're playful about it, and they're having a rough evening, and he'll be like, I've had a few too many guests at my room, and stuff like that. So it's not exactly Arnold.
I'll send housekeeping.
Yeah. They allude to things, and it's okay, they're being all proper, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But when it gets to the action, it's they do a lot of those one take. Yeah. And also not just one take, but the way he goes about it, I think he's striving, because he's involved with the creative process of this film, Keanu. He's striving for as realistic utilization. And I'm using realistic in the sense of how he's using the guns. Mm-hmm. He's not just infinite reload. He if he was using two guns, he'd be shooting a gun a certain way, putting it away, picking out the way he's tactically. He was going, like I said, the training videos was him working with armed people who were trained proficiently in gunsmanship, or I forget I don't know.
Yeah.
Firearms.
Yeah, but wait, I agree with what you're saying. I think when it comes to American films, there aren't that many really nicely executed action films as there is. But I'm so used to watching a lot of Korean films, and they've got insane movies like this all over the place. You just got to look. You know, there's a movie called Company Man that I really enjoyed. You know, it's a very similar style for what John Wick is. So yeah, when like that, I think that's a thing. Like when watching the first John Wick, I was like, nothing special, because I've seen a lot of this already in Korean films. So I was like, this is anything special. But I think it's true though. When it comes to American films, this is something that's very rare.
Well, it's like the market is so much more filled. Like if you want an action movie, it's either a mummy, an alien, a comic book, a superhero.
But there isn't anything like just gun
or
action.
a transformer. It's not just like, here's a dude, he's badass or she's badass, go. Like,
and
start creating a new character, an IP.
With bringing up like Mission Impossible, that's the only real like movie that's kind of doing something similar, or that's been doing something
and it's
similar
like like our James Bond in some sense too. But like it's got the practical to better or worse for the people's health. But like they're doing practical effects of like helicopter chase scenes, machine guns, like all this. I don't know. Like I feel like the other missing thing is buddy cop movies. Like that used to be like a staple of like Rush Hours, Bad Boys. I mean that could be coming back.
Yeah,
but like
21 Jump Street kind of.
Yeah, they lean more in the comedy though, and I feel like that's what they're taking it. It's like, oh, if it's a buddy thing, it's comedy. Yeah. Like but it did capture a little bit of it. But I'm like, I'll miss the old like not even machismo, but just like corny, just like
Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, the Lethal Weapon.
I'll do it for this shit.
Diplomatic immunity. Anyway, that's I think is a good bookend for the episode. We're at 2 hours.
Not enough. Let's go 3.
We finished the topics around an hour.
Yeah. Which is why I want to do this after.
All right. Where can people find you?
They can find me at the Fulio365 on Instagram and in the Fulio everywhere else.
At Raccoon City at The Last Bosses.
You can find me at Cujo Prime. You can find us all at the Weekly DLC. Please let us know if you have any thoughts on any of the topics we had. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we will
DLC
you later.